you were not a fan of speed work.
There's a reason for that, though.
And what you told me at the time was you were fast enough.
Well, that may have been my answer then.
Yeah.
But let's give this some thought.
Yeah.
And see where we go.
Okay.
How many of us have lifted a maximal? Because the sport is about maximal lifts, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to know how much you can lift 20 reps. That might be impressive to talk about, but it's not part of the sport. 1 rep. Can you lift it? How fast can you lift it is not. So it's not a power question. It's just a question of force. The weight times the distance. Can you move it? And let's think through how many maximal lifts we've ever seen that moved any faster than a snail's pace. So how many lifts can you picture right now that just went up incredibly fast? The answer is 0. I'll just go ahead and tell you the answer, just in case anybody's out there thinking it through. The answer is none. None. So the law of sports specificity says that you get better at what you practice. So practicing moving weights very, very fast doesn't have much to do with your single rep max. It just doesn't pan out. It doesn't follow the law. The law of sports specificity says I should practice moving this the way I'm going to move it when I perform it. So that was my thinking, or at least it became my thinking. It's my understanding of it at this point. And I did try the speed work. Louis just kept, telling me to it.
Force mass times acceleration?
Yeah, it is. But how many? So that's true.
Yes.
Right? So that's how much force you need. It's not to accelerate 100 pounds.
Yes.
If you want to accelerate it faster, you need more and more and more force. That's true. But the sport isn't about how fast you get it up. We could make a sport like that. They do shooting sports where they look at how many bullets you can put on a target in how many seconds and all that. So we have instruments that will measure how fast you lift something.
Yeah.
That hasn't made its way into powerlifting yet. So I'll remind you that how many times can you think of a single rep max, or how many single rep maxes did you lift at the speed that you're training at? Mm-hmm. So if you want to spend I kind of worry that people are spending, it's an opportunity cost. Spending a lot of time with speed work is when you could be spending a lot of time with strength work. And so since it's a strength sport, not a speed sport, this isn't Olympic lifting, where that matters, because you have to have time to get under the bar, to fall down and then stand back up with it. They're called the quick lifts for a reason. Speed is important. They don't ask you how fast your squat comes up. If you make it, you make it. In fact, when I was competing, I don't know how the rules are now, but if you stopped but didn't regress, you could start up again.
Yes.
You could even come to a standstill. If you can find a way to build momentum enough to get it started again, that counts.
As long as it didn't lower.
Yeah. So you can't get any slower than stopping. That's as slow as it gets. And a lot of your biggest lifts might come almost to a stop. So I need skill and central nervous system drive with that speed, because that's how I'm going to win. I'm not going to be moving the weight, quickly at all. Nothing close to quickly. Maybe my opener, but even then, it's not as fast as a lot of the speed training has gotten to. And so I don't. For that reason, I think you're training time and energy and the thing you have to recover from. So if you do speed work, okay, good, but you have to recover from that, and I don't know how much that helps you, because you're not going to lift that way.
Couldn't that be said that submaximal loading in the 70% range is generally going to move faster than maximal loading in the 90s?
So you're right. You've got the physics right, Dave.
Yeah,
the physics. So anything under maximal will move a little faster and a little faster and a little faster.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So if I could recover from maximal training all the time, that's all I would do.
Which nobody can.
There's the rub. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got to choose triples. So I did a lot of good work with triples.
Yeah.
And I did a lot of good work with near max lifts. So I would put on a weight, again, because I don't want to fail, and I want to practice moving the weight at the speed it's going to move. So I got to get enough on that I know I can make it, but not a true max. And I would do 3 of those almost every workout. Near max, singles. And then do my triples if I was at that stage.
So outside of accessory work, just staying with specific bench training, how low would you lower, or how low would you let the intensity I always have to define expression of max.
So I didn't have to use percentages because I had numbers.
Yes.
So I had a number. If I was doing triples and I was doing 535 for triples, for 6 sets of triples, then I knew I had to do and so my method was to try to do 36 reps. And so if you're doing a 6-rep max, right, you can get the first set. So 535 for 6 on the first. You might get 6 on the second set. You might not. You might get 5. So you write that down. Then the third set you might get 5 again, but maybe 4. And you write that down. And then 4, and then 4, and then 3, and then 3, and you're done, right? So next week, you already know before you leave what your goals are for next week. You got 6 on the first, 5 on the second, 5 on the third, 4 on the fourth, 4 on the fifth, 3 on the sixth. So what are your goals for next week? You already know before you packed up and left. You got to beat those numbers. So I used the numbers, and when I got to 36, that was no longer my 6-rep max because I'm doing 6 sets with it.
So was this block oriented or more block periodized?
I'm not familiar with the term block.
All right, well, block
so you
is
have to
more
fill me in on that.
Sticking with one strength attribute for a certain period of time. So 4 weeks.
I'm sticking with nothing.
Okay.
I'm constantly moving. I do not believe in plateaus. If you believe in plateaus, you're going to get one.
Yeah.
You'll have yourself one.
So the volume was same?
Set. No, the weight was set.
The weight was set.
Right. So you're always shooting for either 6 sets of 6, or if you're closer to a meet, 6 sets of 3.
Okay.
Or even less than that, even closer to a meet. But let's just say 6 sets of 6. And then
but
as
if you don't get the number of reps per set, does that add more sets or just not get?
No. You're always getting you get 6 chances.
Gotcha.
And you should be able to get your first one.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's your 6-rep max. So you get one.
Mm-hmm.
And then as you build strength, you get more and more and more of the reps. So 36 is a perfect workout. You go up 5 pounds next time. So let's say you get 27 in any combination at all. You come in next week and your goal is to get 28 or better. If you just get 1 more rep in that group, you have improved. If you get 2, good for you. If you get more, fine. But you can't move up you can't move up your next 5 pounds until you get all 36.
Gotcha.
So if you come in and go 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 5, you got to come back next week with the same weight. You got to get that 6th rep. When you get to 6th rep, you are allowed to move up 5 pounds. Mm-hmm. So not only do you know what your goals are for the next week, you know exactly when to change the weight. You know exactly how much. And the truth is, Dave, I took some, I didn't always go up by 2.5, or I didn't always go up by 5. Because I took 2.5 pound plates and I drilled holes in them until they weighed 1 pound each.
So there was always some progression.
So I could go up by 1 pound. And I put it on one side of the bar.
Yeah.
I go up 1 pound.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to make any difference.
Nope, not at all.
Yeah.
So, but the idea is there is constant progression.
Mm-hmm.
If you allow or accept that you can stay the same, I would ask you this. Do you expect to make progress this year? Pretty much everybody would say, yeah, I'm going to move my dead up. I'm going to move my bench up. I'm going to move my squat up in a year. Okay, so whatever progress you think you're going to make, let's say it's 50 pounds. That means you got to go up 1 pound a week. If you don't, you got 2 pounds to go the next week.
Oh, yeah.
So if you think, hey, I'm going to move up 10 pounds this year, then every week, what do you have to go up? Well, you divide the year, the training year, and that's the progress you need to show for that week. Because 1 week of 0 progress times 1 billion years and weeks is still 0 progress.
Yeah.
There has to be constant progress of some sort, either a rep or a little bit of weight. Something has to keep changing. Now, there are events like sicknesses and off days, and that happens. And so if it does, you have to ask yourself, what am I going to change next week to make sure this doesn't happen again? So let's say you do stay the same. You get 27 reps this week, you get 27 reps next week. Well, you know that's not supposed to happen, right? The training program isn't set up to do that. Something went wrong. What went wrong? Was it your training program? No, because the training programs are all very good. Was it your effort? Well, no, because I'm trying as hard as I can. What's the third thing it could be? Recovery. Recovery. What in your recovery? I have 5 things that I focus on. The umbrella of recovery for me is 5. It can be many more, though. But I look at those 5 things. Did I get enough sleep? Can I change that? Did I bathe my cells in nutrients? Did I eat properly? I can change that. Did I deal with my stress? Did I meditate? I can change that, right? And then there's another thing I call the rest of your life. Everything pulls on you. So not only do you get 24 hours every day, you have a set amount of energy. You can't just increase that amount of energy out of nowhere.